富、名声、力、この世の全てを手に入れた男、海賊王ゴールド・ロジャー。彼の死に際に放った一言は人々を海へ駆り立てた。
俺の財宝か？欲しけりゃくれてやる。探せ、この世の全てをそこに置いてきた。
男たちはグランドラインを目指し夢を追い続ける。世はまさに大海賊時代。
ありったけの夢をかき集め、探し物を探しに行くのさ。One Piece。
The year was 1975. January 1st, 1975 to be exact. Not much is known about Oda's early years besides the fact that he liked to read manga. Like the manga Monster Kid by Fujiko Fujio. It's about a kid who's a monster. At the age of 4, Oda decided a normal job wasn't gonna cut it for this guy. He didn't want to sit in a dimly lit room with one window staring out to an open sea of silver and black cars. Oda knew he didn't want to get off his 9 to 5. Sit in his car while he looks at the front door of his house thinking, do I go inside or do I sit in the garage and let my car run as I slowly drift off? At the age of 4, Oda didn't know what he wanted to do with his life. He just knew a normal job wasn't gonna fit into it. Not until around the early ages of middle school, a manga came out that completely overshadowed everything else in the world. Dragon Ball. Akira Toriyama. Ever heard of him? You know. The Sage of Shonen, the King of Manga, the Lord of Weebs, the Patriarch of Panel and Pen, the God of Power-Ups. You know. Monarch of Muscles, Emperor of Screams, Sovereign of Saiyans. Come on, you know him. He's the crowned overlord of current battle anime and manga. Imagine yourself, 12 years old, sitting there, reading that manga, that Dragon Ball panel pops up, of Roshi blowing up the moon with a Kamehameha. It was so sick back then that it's still terminally ill today. It's stage 4 today. It's almost at the point where you gotta pull the plug. It was so dope. Akira Toriyama is such an integral part to Oda's story, and not just Oda, but all of Oda's peers in manga, such as the guy who created Bleach, the guy that created Naruto. Without Dragon Ball, we wouldn't have that. So that's why I have to bring up Akira Toriyama to make sure that everybody knows why he's here. And finally in high school, our boy Oda decided manga is what he was going to pursue in his life. And just his luck, that same year, there was a manga award up for grabs called Tezuki Awards. It was the 44th one. But our boy was still a little shy, and he was kind of afraid what his peers would think and his teachers. So he went into the competition with the pseudonym Tezuki Himezu Kikondo. The full-length manga chapter that Tezuki decided to enter in with was called Wanted, about a bounty hunter named Wild Joe going after the head of wild criminal Gil Bastar. Which actually, there was multiple characters that made appearances Wanted that ended up making appearances later on in One Piece, or our main characters in One Piece. But that's besides the point, no more Easter eggs. Tezuki, or Oda, ended up winning the Tezuka Awards with a cool 500,000 yen package, but the best had yet to be announced. Oda, after winning the Tezuka Award, was also offered a nice, lucrative, seductive job over at Shonen Jump, one of the biggest and the biggest manga distributor in the world. Shonen Jump was offering Oda to work underneath some of the biggest names in the game, such as Shinobu Katayanagi, who made Liar's Game, which was a pretty big deal at the time. But Oda was not destined just to be some peon nerd working for other people. he was destined to make his own work. But for right now, that would have to wait till later. During this time period, Oda was still working on his manga called Monster and Romance Dawn, which would eventually turn into One Piece. Finally, in 1997, after a couple years of Shonen Jump bleeding out and gasping for air, seeing its final moments, after the ending of its two biggest manga series, Dragon Ball and Slam Dunk. Just then, the man Ichiro Oda decided to drop off his latest chapter of his latest creation, One Piece, right onto the desk of Mr. Jump. It's been rumored that Shonen Jump had a coming to God moment, a rebirth, a renaissance, a true baptismal experience after reading the first chapter of One Piece. At least that's what I think. It could be more towards Shonen Jump lost over 2 million subscriptions to their weekly Shonen Jump magazine, but who's to know? Remember the date, July 22nd, 1997. One Piece is officially published in the weekly Shonen Jump, 34th issue of the magazine, baby! It's One Piece time. I need to probably tell you a little bit about One Piece. It's about this guy, this stretchy dude, Luffy, who wants to be the Pirate King and the freest man in the world. Pretty dope. He gains a pirate crew, these guys. Whoa, look at all those guys. Anyways, that's them. That's the story. On that day in 1997, I don't think Shonen Jump truly knew what they had just created. 26 years later, the manga is still crushing it. Over 516 million issues of One Piece have been sold. One Piece is the #1 sold manga of 2023. Oda has broken his own records and set his own records week after week. Oda is also in the top 10 selling authors of all time. 9 places behind William Shakespeare. Oda is also in the Guinness Book of World Records for #1 most published author of all time underneath a single title. But just like every other author, there needs to be either a movie or a cartoon made after their work. Goddamn money grabbing mother. In 1999, it was announced that Toei Animation had gotten the rights to make Oda's masterpiece into an anime adaptation. You might be asking, what else has Toei done? Well, they've done all of the Dragon Ball anime, and they make some not bad animation, but every now and then they make some
Holy hell, what is that?
Lately, Toei's been going bonkers with stuff like this.
Stay with me. 真夜中のドアを叩き帰らないでと泣いたあの季節が今目の前
Through the years, One Piece anime has broken records of its very own. Like as of recent, in the most recent arc, Wano, One Piece crashed the anime streaming service Crunchyroll back-to-back weeks. Never been done before, baby. One Piece anime is just It's hype because it's One Piece, and I love it, but the manga's like a fresh glass of milk. Now, let's talk about the curdled shit. Netflix and live-action adaptation are words nerds never want to hear. Looking at some of other Netflix's live-action adaptation work, such as Death Note and Cowboy Bebop, and the latter of the two being produced by the same studio that made One Piece, what Tomorrow Studios learned from their mistakes with Cowboy Bebop was to bring in the creator of the universe, give them some creative control. You don't have to make it one-for-one shot, just make it different enough but also the same. That's all you have to do. Good job. Set design great. Casting great. Everything else great. Oda, great. Thank you. That's the end. See you later. I ran out of time. Adios.